Good morning. Ah, y'all. I don't even know what to say, but it's been a week, it's been a month, it's been a day already, and it's only 6. But we are here, and we're up, and we are breathing, and there's so much more for us to do. And just the fact that we are up and we've got breath in our lungs and we're thinking and there's blood still running through our veins. That simple fact, if y'all were ever questioning about your purpose, you are still here. This means that you have purpose. This means that it's not too late. This means that the time is now. Just say, okay, well, I am still here. Let's get rolling. Y'all, we've got so much to do. So much to do. So much to do. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. All right. This is what's going on. But one, y'all, so I've been doing these things. I don't even know what week we're on right now because I've literally just been doing them. I stopped counting after I think that it was either the 10th or the 12th week. But we passed that. Well, I don't know. I don't know where we are. We might be at the 15th week. I'm not sure. But so I've been doing these things every Wednesday morning, faithfully. But one of the things that I have not done is pray, right? And I'm going to tell y'all, like, I'm not one that will be the person who volunteers to pray because I just don't. That's just not me. So, one, I want you to know that this is very uncomfortable, but that's one of the things that I have not done, and one of the things that I am going to start incorporating in my coaching sessions, in this every Wednesday morning, because what I have seen from as I sit there and talk to you guys all the time about falling back and allowing God to step in and realizing when you're doing too much. I've done so much over the past years that I understand when I'm pushing and when I am taking the weight and putting it on my shoulders. And guess what? I'm starting to do it again. Gosh, man, it's if there's a constant struggle for me, it's that. So that is what I've done, and that is what I have been doing and starting back doing. So how I'm going to combat that is to pray. Is to pray before every session that I have with a client, before every hour of power session that we have, because what I don't want to do is have more of me and less of him. So my prayer would be for me to fall back, right? I'm only here because I'm being used. It is not me that I want you guys to see. When I talk to people, it's not me that I want them to think about and, oh my goodness, wow, she really did that. I didn't do anything. I just showed up. And that's how I want it to be. So that is one thing that we're going to do right now. Okay, y'all. All right. So, dear Lord, thank you for everything that you've done for us, everything that you continue to do for us. Thank you for constantly showing up in our lives and showing out. Thank you for keeping us. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your grace, because, Lord, when you know we need it. Thank you for just allowing us to just wake up this morning and just feel the air in our lungs, to be able to breathe, and to just be able to move and be one. It's one more day that we can walk in and fulfill the purpose that you've placed us here for, to fulfill our calling, to walk in our calling, and to be more like you. Lord, it's another day for us to, for people to see you through us, for us to show up and to be a vessel, and for you to have the opportunity to work through us, Lord. I am asking that you bless what it is that comes out of my mouth, Lord. I ask that you work through me. I ask that it be less of me and more of you, Lord. I ask that I can fall all the way back and for you to completely show up, Lord. I know that there are things that you want me to say. I know that there are ways that you want to work through me. And Lord, I just want to let you know that I am showing up. I am available to be used, and I'm here. So let's get it done. All right. So Lord, please bless everyone as they are either heading to work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the kids, whatever it is that they're doing, Lord. If they're working from home, Lord, please guard their minds, guard their souls, guard their hearts, guard their ears, and allow them to stay focused today. Allow them to just fall back to, and allow you to work through them. Lord, allow them to be present for the things that they need to be present for. Allow them to determine what is necessary for them to be focused on. Allow them to understand that busyness doesn't equal success. Busyness doesn't equal them fulfilling their goals and fulfilling the purpose that you set them here for. That they need to be busy in the right areas. And thank you that we are going to talk about just that, Lord. So just use me, allow me to fall back, Lord. And thank you for this day. Amen. All right, y'all. Ah, okay. That y'all don't even understand. Like I be doing some stuff that is really, really, really uncomfortable for me. Um, so when I talk about these things, I'm not just talking. I'm not just saying stuff. I am not just trying to motivate you just for the sake of motivation, not trying to inspire you to do stuff that I'm not trying to do and that I'm not doing on a daily basis. I am holding myself accountable. I am doing the necessary work. I am doing the things that are uncomfortable. I am stepping out continuously, stepping out of my comfort zone. And I am telling you guys as I'm doing it along the way that, man, that's why I'm so, and that's what I was telling, my clients, is that this is why I am so open. This is why I allow myself, and I'm still working. I'm still working on the vulnerability piece. But this is why I'm allowing myself to be transparent and vulnerable, is because I want you to know that I'm doing it too. And it doesn't necessarily always feel good when you're doing it, when you're stepping out, and but you do it anyway. You do it anyway because that is where change happens, is in the midst of you being uncomfortable, in the midst of you stepping out and you're like, "Phew, I don't know about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I am going to do it anyway," because all you need to have is the hope that it will happen. Like I I I have hope. I have hope. And then it comes belief. All right? And then you get into the trust, which faith, belief, and trust are kind of the same things. And then you get to action, right? But all you've got to have, all you start with is hope. Is hope. That's it. I just need you to believe that it is possible. All right. And then we start moving into, I believe that is possible for me. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know how things are going to play out, but I know that it's possible. It's possible for me. So I'm going to step out. That's what leads to action. And then once you take that action, and then you see, you're like, you step out and you're like, oh, okay, nothing happened. Nothing happened to me. It's uncomfortable, but it was okay. It was okay. Then that leads to confidence, right? Once you do it over and over and you keep doing those things, and then you start to recognize, oh, wait, I'm uncomfortable. That must mean I need to move. Ah, I'm uncomfortable. That's the sign of growth. And you start chasing those things. But all it starts with is hope. You just have to, this is, I'm believing that this is possible. Then it's possible for me. And then I step out. You don't have to know everything before you step out, y'all. You don't have to have everything planned. You don't have to know how things are going. This is why I share my story, because I know nothing. Okay? Nothing. And I make that explicitly clear. I don't have anything set up. Y'all, for coaching, I don't have any system set up. I am setting up systems as I am coaching. And that's what's happening. Things aren't perfect. It's not. But I show up. I show up. And that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. So now that we've got that out the way, here it is. I'm going to have a transparent moment again, right? And I was literally just talking to my husband about that last night, because I'm like, oh my goodness, that's another thing. Another thing that I'm going to share that I'm weak in. Oh my gosh. But yes, this is another area that I am weak in right now, right? So I'm going to tell you guys, I struggle with enough. That has been a consistent struggle of mine. Yes, I've gotten better, but it still shows its face. It's still something that I very much have to work through. And my enough shows up in doing too much. That's what it shows up as. So when it comes to business, that's what it comes up as. So yes, I struggle with enough when it comes to being a mom and a wife and um just me in general, right? So those are the things that, yeah, they show up. Um but it shows up as in all areas, right? In all of those areas, I've noticed that it is, am I doing enough? That's how it rears its head. So when that happens, it's like I want to prove to myself that I am doing enough, and that I am, that's how I prove that I am enough, by working, right? So when it comes to business, it will be where I push, I grind. I am, even if I am not trying to, I go in with it like, I'm just going to let things flow. I'm just going to let it, just happen. And that's not how it ends up. I end up pushing, and I end up pushing so hard that usually I burn out. And then through my burnout, I still push, because for me, and the way that I have looked at things is like, well, burning out is a weakness. And you have got to push through your weaknesses. So it doesn't matter what your body is telling you. It doesn't matter if you're feeling burnt out. It doesn't matter if you know you need a break. You push through it anyway, because that is how you become successful. That is what you do. You push, you hustle, and you grind. And it always comes back to that. As much as I know that that's not the truth, but there is a song that's playing in my mind that I am in the process of rewriting, is that it's all on me. And that is something that I've kept with a lot of stuff. I know where it stems from. I know where it connects. I know all of that. I know all the root things, but it still shows up, right? So um and that's one of the things that plays in my mind. So I want I want you guys to know this, right? And that's why I emphasize knowing the things that are playing in your mind, what songs are going on in your head when you aren't totally conscious of them. But you become conscious of them by reflection, right? So we're being conscious of our actions. We know what we're doing, and the more time that you spend with yourself, and the more time that you spend with God, those things will start being revealed, right? So we talked about those things, but this is why I emphasize that, because that's how you catch on to stuff and like, I don't like that. That cannot live here, because these things that you have playing in your mind, it's so funny, right? Because here it goes. Like, I'll examine myself. So here, and y'all, I'm like, I am being open, as open can be, but it's cool. So here it is. I have this fear, right? Because that's what it is. It's rooted in fear. So I have this thing of whether I question all the time if I'm doing enough. Am I doing enough? Am I being enough? Like, is this enough? Is this enough? Okay, so I have that. It's rooted in fear. It's rooted in the fear of because I place everything on me, and I say, well, that's the song that's playing in my head. It depends on me, because I'm running from the fear of, if I do not achieve the things that were given to me, right, in my vision, if I don't reach what I feel is my purpose and my calling, if I don't walk in it, right? And it's not even just walking in it, because where my fear is what I just said the beginning, because it's not walking in it, because I'm walking in it right now. You don't have to be where you want to where you desire to be to walk in your calling. So it's not the fear that I'm not walking in it. It's the fear that these things were revealed to me, and I know that because they're revealed to me, I know that those things are for me. And so if I did not reach those things, I fear that it would be because of me. It's because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You let God down. You didn't do, you didn't focus. You weren't intentional. And that's what my underlying fear is. And there's other fears of just like, oh, I don't want to be lazy. So because I don't want to be lazy, I turn it totally on the opposite side of where I sometimes do too much. So those are like the underlying things. And I mean, the biggest thing is that I don't want it to be where I don't get to where I want to get to, and what's been revealed to me, and reach the vision, right? So, but the funny thing is that in me running away from that, right? Like, I've run so hard trying to escape that, trying to say, okay, well, look, because I don't want to be lazy, and because I I don't want it to be where I let God down, and I let myself down, and I let my family down, because I put everybody on my shoulders, right? And I don't want to let anybody down. I'm going to run. I'm going to run. So I'm running away from that fear. I'm running away from that fear. And I am like sprinting away from that fear. So I am pushing, and I am working. I am working myself to the ground, because I'm like, if anything, I am going to do this, and I can handle this, and I'm going to do it. So I need to be busy. I need to be doing stuff. Every moment of my day needs to be filled with something. I need to be reading. I need to be doing, like, I am literally always doing something, right? And And that's my way of running away from that fear. But in doing that, that's the crazy part. In doing the running, I'm thinking that I'm running away from it. So this is the fear. I'm running away from it when really I'm doing this and I'm running right back to it. Because the thing that I want you guys to realize is that the thing that you guys focus on the most becomes your reality. So even though we think that I'm running away from it and I am not thinking about it because I'm running away from it, I'm getting away from it, you are thinking about it. You are thinking about it all the time and you think about it more than you know. This is something, and that's why I say the song that is playing in your head. This is something that has been written, and it's something that just continues to flow, and you are not catching it, and you are not dealing with it. If you do not do that, you are going to run right into that fear. You are going to run right into that thing that you do not want to happen. So we've got to rewrite things and we've got to correct that. So that's one of the things that I noticed about me. So that leads me right where I want to go, right? So one of the stories that stood out, right? And one I didn't even know. Like I knew that this was still an issue, but um I was going to handle it differently. And last week I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today. And one of the stories that came to my mind was Mary and Martha, right? And I'm like, okay, okay, then I'll talk about that. But I didn't know that it was going to tie into what I'm evaluating with myself and the things that I still need to work through and work on. So it's funny how those things tie together. But so here we are, right? Luke 10:38 through 42. And I'm just gonna read it real quick. Uh okay, so we're gonna start at I would say 38. So 38 through 42. Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her to help me. She like, look, tell her to get her butt up and help me. I'm in here doing the dishes. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. This is just way too much for one person. She's got company just like I do. So tell her to help me. Okay. And so, you know what? This is what Jesus said back. Martha, Martha. One, he called her name twice. He's like, girl, listen, listen. You are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion which will not be taken away from her. So that now we've got to unpack this, right? We got to unpack this. So here we are, and Mary is at Jesus's feet. She's like, look, what you have to tell me, because I know that this is important. I am here. And Martha in here, she doing the dishes, Lord. She getting ready. She is ready to serve, and that's the thing that was highlighted here. She was serving, right? But then Jesus said she was distracted. So the thing is that you can be doing something good, right? You can be doing something that is not inherently bad, but it can still be bad because it can be at the wrong time, not the right place, but you're doing something good. But when you're not at the right time, not at the right place, it is at that time a distraction. So when she is serving, she's focused on serving. And God, I mean, Jesus is like, that's not what you should be doing in this moment. And that's one of the things that he said. He said, but one thing is necessary. So at every moment of every day, I want you guys to know that we can choose what is necessary, where we should be placing our energy, what is the thing that we should be focused on in that moment. And there are so many, there's so many times, there's so many ways that we can find ourselves being distracted. And you can use me as an example with me trying to do enough, right? And for me placing the weight on my shoulders, and for me to to say, well, everything is on me, so that's what I'm going to do, and I've got to push and I've got to do this. I am not inherently doing something bad, because I am pushing and I am moving and I am grinding in the place that I'm supposed to be, right? It's in the realm of what I'm here to do. I am doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm walking in my calling. I am fulfilling my purpose. I am doing everything that God is telling me to do when it comes to movement. So I'm not inherently doing something bad, but the way that I am going about it is. The way that I am going about it is wrong. That is not the way that I should be approaching this. It should be where I am more of Mary and less of Martha. Of where I am not so consumed with being busy and hurrying up and getting to where I want to get. And it's not even getting to where I want to get, just trying to win that approval. And that's the crazy thing, right? I'm trying to win God's approval and I already got it. I already have a stamp of approval. That's already been given. But yet I'm like, oh, I gotta do it right. I gotta please him. I gotta work to be able to do this. Look, God, I'm working. I'm working. Can't you see this? Oh, I'm working. Look at me. Look at me. And it's like, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to impress me. I know what's in you. You don't have to sit there and push and work yourself to the ground. That's not what I have for you. That's not what I want. That's not what he wants. The thing that we emphasized before is easy, is rest. And the thing is that when God was creating the world, what did he do on the seventh day? He rested. So if he rested, why do we feel like we can't and we shouldn't? And if we rest, then we're missing out on something. We're wasting time. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that when it comes to being still, when it comes to understanding ourselves more, when it comes to being at God's feet and trying to listen to what he's got to tell us and what he's trying to do in our lives, why is it that when it comes to that, we feel like we're missing out? We feel the same way. It feels like I'm wasting time. It feels like I should be out moving. I should be doing something. This isn't getting me closer. This isn't helping me fulfill my purpose. This isn't helping me start that business. Like if you saying start this business, and that was me, right? If you're telling me start this business, I need to be out working on that business. I can't just be in here with my Bible and praying and on my knees and meditating, and I can't be doing all that stuff and reading books that don't even have anything to do with running the business. I need to focus on that. This is what you told me to do. So then I need to grow this thing. So I need to do the work. So let me do the work. I'm going to spend my time with you and then I'm going to go. But when it comes to that deep internal work that I was told to do, I'm like, that is that that work isn't putting any money in my pockets. That work isn't what people would be paying me for. That work isn't the thing that I am told and that I read and that I see that I should be doing to be able to be successful in business. Those aren't the things that I see on a daily basis. Those aren't the posts that I see on social media. Those aren't the books that I'm seeing. That is not it. But it is it. It is it. That is where it begins. And honestly, that is where it ends. So if it's where, and that's what I had to ask myself, is that I keep taking this and putting it on my shoulders because y'all, I already told you my fear. I've already told you what I'm struggling with. And I'm putting this on my shoulders. What's happening is that when I'm going to God, I'm already like this. I'm like, hey, you need me to do something? Whew, I'm tired. But okay, whatever. What do you want? What do you want me to do? I'm so burnt. I'm so weak. I am going to him with my glass already full. And this is going to bring me back. So, when we talked about, and I don't know, but hopefully, when we talked about Elisha, right? And the woman that was afraid that the debtors were going to come and take her sons into slavery because she owed them. And she like, look, I don't have any money to pay them back. I don't have anything. And he's like, okay, what do you have in your house, right? Right? So we talked about that and how he told her and he instructed her and her son to go out and get all the vessels that they can, everything, borrow them all, everything that you can get your hand onto and bring it back, and we're going to start pouring the little bit that you have, the little oil that she had. And so one of the things that came to me, right, was that the oil, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't miss this because there was 2 points, right? So one of the things is that the when she was pouring the oil, the oil stopped when one, there were no more vessels available, and then two, when they were all full. Okay, so those are the two things. That's when the blessing, that's when it stopped. That's when it stopped. It stopped pouring when there was no more available and when they were all full. So the same thing comes to us. The same thing applies to us, is that those things that God wants to impart in us and those things that he wants to be allowed to work through us and the way that he wants to use us, the blessings that will come from that, they will only continue to flow if you, one, make yourself available, and two, show up empty. And I've been showing up full. This is why I led into this with less of me and more of you. This has been my continuous prayer. This has been my continuous desire of where I show up empty. I don't have a problem with showing up. Y'all know I show up. I do the action. But I didn't realize I was showing up full. I didn't realize that I was showing up with my own agenda of, I am going to do this and it falls on me. Even though I'm showing up and I'm saying, okay, work through me. Yes, I want you to use me, but I'm still going to push. And I am going to make this happen. Even if I feel that you've gone somewhere, if I feel that I'm not getting it fast enough, I am going to push. So this is what it ends up where it falls back on me and I am relying on me rather than relying on God. So that is the ugly truth. This is what happens. So I want you guys to start examining where we are being busy at, because I know that busyness can sometimes feel good, at least to a person like me, right? So busyness, it makes me feel like I am doing something. I am working towards something. And it's like, even if I'm not busy doing the right things, I am working. I'm doing the things. Like doing work makes me feel like that that's leading to something, because the opposite for me in my mind, and this is why you've got to examine how you think and why you think what you think, because my thing of laziness, right, my the way that I think of laziness is sitting back, and I think of laziness not doing the work, and I think of laziness of just thinking things are just going to come to you. But at the same time, because I think this way, I totally run the opposite way. So this is why, and I want, like, this is why I'm examining myself so hard, right? Because I want you guys to do the same to you. So this is why, and I hope that you can see this, because I have this thing of where I'm just like, you can just call it disgust, right? Of laziness, and the way that I perceive laziness, I go the complete opposite way. So I do too much to avoid doing this. And what happens is that a part of this, because I've classified it that way, when it comes to submitting, when it comes to going with the flow, when it comes to surrender, I hope that you already know that those are the things that I have struggled with. But it's because of how I classified laziness. In my mind, those things are synonymous with laziness. And that's what I would think, right? That's what I thought. Because when you're going with the flow, what are you doing? You're allowing things to come. You're just going with it. You're just handling it as it comes. You're just moving with the waters. When you talk about submitting, one, that for me, that was synonymous with one, weakness, right? And laziness was in my head a weakness. So I'm running towards the strength. I'm like, no. So when you mention the word of submitting, I'm like, automatically, it's weakness. So I stay away from it unconsciously. I stay away from it, even though I'm trying to work consciously to get there. This is why we have to reprogram our subconscious mind, because that is dictating our consciousness. That is dictating our actions. No matter how good you want to be, no matter how you want things to play out, no matter how you're saying you show up, the song that is playing in your mind is going to show up. That's the reality that you're going to see. So there it is with submitting, right? And then when you talk about, I'm sorry, y'all. When you talk about submitting, when you're talking about, that was weakness for me. And then I done forgot the word, y'all. I'm sorry, that knocked me off. But that is why I'm running so hard, because of the way that I'm classifying it, because of the way that I am uh looking at things. So that had been a struggle. So this is why me doing enough is always ringing in my head. Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? And I've got more, like I said, more of Martha than I do Mary. Mary is the going with the flow. Mary is the being present. Mary is that, because I'm present in the moment, I am understanding and I know what is important and what is necessary in this moment. When you are Martha and you are busy with doing all the things that you think you're supposed to do, I'm cleaning up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm working on my business. I got to sit there and make these calls. I got to sit there and market because that's what I read. I got to sit there and push out these emails. I got to sit there and do all this. When you are constantly busying yourself and you aren't present in the moment, you miss out on what is necessary. You miss out on the things that are most important. And it's the crazy thing is that it expands past what it is that I'm talking about, because it can touch on your family. It can touch on your relationships. It can touch on your relationship with yourself. It expands to different areas, right? Of where you miss out on something. Think about the dad that or the mom that is consumed with work, and I'm consumed with being busy because I got to reach this thing. I've got to become successful. And this is what we also have to figure out what our definition of success is. So that's another thing, y'all. But I've got to reach this pivotal moment of success, of what I've defined success as. I've got to get there. So I'm working, I'm doing this business, I'm doing the things, I'm doing this. I'm making sure, because I'm doing it for the sake of my family. I am doing it so then we don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. I'm doing it so then we can afford a nice house. I'm doing it so then I can pay for y'all's college. I'm doing it so then y'all don't have any bills to pay, when you graduate college and don't have any loans. But these are the things that we're saying we're doing this for the sake of them. So that allows us to feel better about being busy. But then in us being busy and concerning ourselves with busyness and feeling ourselves with busyness, we miss out on what's most important. We miss out on being present in the moment and making that conscious decision of whether we are going to choose what is necessary or we're going to focus on the distractions. There's nothing wrong with furthering your business. It's nothing wrong with scaling up. It's nothing wrong with doing the things that you feel you need to do to be able to get to the vision that God revealed to you. There's nothing wrong with, you need to walk in your purpose. There's nothing wrong with walking in your purpose. There's nothing wrong with pursuing your calling. There's nothing wrong with those things inherently. But when you get to the point of where you are doing those things without God, that's the problem. When you're doing those things and it's more of a distraction, that's the problem. When it's distracting you from what is necessary, when it's distracting you from what is important, that is when it's a problem. And only you are going to be able to know that. Only you are going to be able to pick that out and really examine yourself and really be truthful about what is going on and why you're doing the things that you're doing, and whether you're on the Martha side or whether you're on the Mary side. There was nothing wrong with both of them. It was just the time that they were doing what they were doing in the place. So we got to know the timing and the place, and know that spending time with yourself, spending time with God, getting to know yourself, building up that confidence that you need, that is not a waste of time. That was one of the things that I would think, is that if I'm still, I am missing out because I'm not being busy. I am not working towards the things that I should be working towards. And it's just the opposite. We think that if we run really fast, we do the things that we think we're supposed to do, we'll get there even faster. And it's guaranteed at that point that I will get there. But that's not true. And then you think that being still, you're losing out, when actually being still, you're gaining more than you could ever get by running. Because when you're still, when you show up, you make yourself available and you come empty, you're allowing yourself to be filled. So then when you're filled, you have that much more energy. You have that much more time, because that's what it seems like. You have that much more to give to other people without draining yourself, without burning yourself out. That is the difference. So when you take time to really get close, to really be still, you'll see that, okay, within this stillness, right? Within this time that I'm dedicating, within this time that I'm allowing myself to be filled, you think you might be here, and then you start here, and then maybe you're right there. But if I was busy, I could have been here. But if you allow that time, what's going to happen is that even though you thought you could have been here, you're going to be past that. It's going to be where you move past it. I'm telling y'all, it's important. It's important. And that's one of the things. And that's why I said I went into this with less of me, more of you. I am showing up, but I want to show up empty. I want you to move through me. I want you to fill me up. I want to spend that time with you. I want to prioritize being still. I want to prioritize being at your feet, because I know at any moment that is what is necessary. Me listening to you, me leaning in on you, that is what is necessary. And that's where my focus should be. And that's where it is. Not on me doing the work, not on me taking it on, but on you. So I am going to go through this. Starting all things with prayer and allowing God into the process. This is a definite continuation of your growth and the expansion of your comfort zone. Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. And that's what we learn as we go. And stepping out of your comfort zone, it does not mean that you won't make mistakes. It does not mean that the road is going to be smooth and there are no bumps and there's nothing that's going to come. That doesn't mean that. There will be bumps, there will be bruises. Sometimes you may not feel the greatest. It may not make you feel great to step out because you're scared, because you have fears, because of these things, whatever it may be. But you know that despite the bumps and the bruises, you still make it out. Despite the fire that you may endure, that you're in, you will walk out without being burned. That's the difference. That's the difference. So it is really about us judging ourselves by others, that we often underestimate our own self-worth. Honey, that gets in the way of so much, of so much, of so much. Because we're concerned. And even when we say, because there'll be people that I talk to, of where they're like, well, I don't really care what other people think. I'm like, oh, really? And so we dig, you know, I'm a digger. So we dig deeper and we dig deeper and we dig deeper. And then it turns out where actually I really do. But the perception of caring what other people think, I despise that. So that's what I'm telling myself. I don't care what other people think. But underneath everything, I actually do. And that's when I make those moves. And honestly, that comes back to to I struggled with that, right? And that's a lot of it's not it's it's a good portion of the enough, right? Of doing enough. That was a lot of it. So that was one of the parts that I had to deal with, right? So it's different subsets. Just like I said, it stems from different places. But that was one of the things that I had to deal with, was being overly concerned about what other people thought of me. If I did not reach this place in a certain amount of time, then what are people going to be thinking? They're going to think that I'm a failure. They're going to think that I just wasted my degree. They're going to think that this, and they're going to think that this. So I got to hurry up and overwork, and I've got to sit there and I've got to make it where they think differently. Like, so that does in turn affect the way that you think about yourself, your own self-worth. So we've got to be mindful of that, right? We've got to be mindful of that. So I'm thankful that you heard this morning too. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. So I went to, oh, okay. Look at this. You have motivated me to support the children of our future and on the platform of aviation. Oh, yes, yes. We need more female and minorities in the aviation industry. So you guys, look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a segment to generate opportunity for our children to fly high. All right, I want to know more about what you're doing. That's fun. Running towards that stood out to me. Run towards making a change in the future. That is what it's about, y'all. This is why we've got to work on ourselves. We've got to this is why that stillness is important, because that is how we're going to enact change. We have to change first before we change the world. It's not the opposite. We don't change the world, then because of that, then we change ourselves. It's us changing first, and that's how we're able to change others. That's how we're able to change, one, our reality, two, the realities for other people, and three, enacting change in the world. That's what it starts with us. It starts with us. And that stillness is so necessary. When serving God, why you are doing something is often more important than how you are doing. Lord, the why. Why is so important, y'all. Start asking yourself why. Why am I doing? Why do I feel this way? Why am I doing this? Understand the motive behind the thing, because that's one thing that we'll talk about. We'll talk about that. I don't know, whenever I'm told to talk about it, right? But one of my things is that I started to do that, be in that stillness and chase God, right? But even though I was doing the thing that I was supposed to be doing, right, was chasing God and to be at his feet and to make myself available and have that stillness and really try to do the internal work. I was doing the right things, but when I asked myself why I was doing it, I was doing it for the wrong reason. I was doing it because I wanted to hurry up and get to where I wanted to get to. And I knew that, okay, well, you're going to show me. So I'm here. Show me where. That's the sole reason why I'm here, because you're supposed to be leading me. You're leading me to get to where I want to get. I want to get there, so I'm here. What you got for me? Show me the steps, show me the ways, and I'm out. That was the reason why I was there. Wrong reasons, doing the right things. So why is important? You're welcome, Queen. You are so welcome. All right, so I'm going to read this last one. Understand that sometimes when we focus on making it easy for our children, we make it hard in other ways, honey. Yes. Sometimes it's the struggle that makes a person of purpose. Let them partner in the education. Maybe allow them to work and contribute so that they have skin in the game. And it's not all my parents' dream, but our dream. Work with your children and not for them. It was hard for me, but make stronger adults. And so I guess I'll put that up. I do agree with that on a level. Right. So one of the things that we definitely are saying for our kids is that no, I do not. I don't want them to have loans. I don't. I had them. I don't want that for them. However, we are establishing businesses, right? We're doing the things that we're setting up the systems in order for them. You don't think that they ain't gonna be working. They're gonna be working. They're going to be learning. They're going to be developing. There are things that I am going to do, and my husband is going to do with them in order for them. It is a a mutual thing, right? Of where we are doing this thing together. And one of the things that I also want to highlight here, since we talk about kids, right, is that when you said our, it's not only the parents' dream, but our dream, that resonates with me. That resonates with me because the thing is that sometimes we push our dream, and I know that you probably didn't mean it that way, but that's why it resonates with me is that sometimes we push our dream onto our kids. So if we're like, man, I think college is really, really important and you should go, you're going to go. You're going to go to college. And we push them to do those things. And sometimes I've seen it where parents don't pay attention to their child's inherent gifts, their talents, and their abilities, and what it is that they truly enjoy. We are not spending this time of childhood really digging deep into our kids and understanding what it is that they bring to the table. We should be knowledgeable of that. That is why we are here. That is why we are their parents. That is, we can see things that they can't see yet. There are things that we can pick up on if we pay attention, that we can get them in and that we can do to be able to allow those dreams that they have, to allow those talents that they have, allow those gifts that they have to flourish. There are things that, okay, good. That is exactly what I meant. All right, all right. Yes, yes. There are things that we can do, but a lot of times I see parents, it's just like, oh well, I want them to play football. I want them to play football, so I'm putting them in football. And the child don't like football. They like to draw. They're like, well, but drawing ain't gonna pay the money. Look, I'm getting them into this, and I also see it with education. Oh my gosh, but no, it's science, it's computers. They need to be in that. Oh, she's a woman, she needs to be in that because there aren't enough women in that field, and I know that that's where the money pays. However, she wants to be a singer. That's where her talents and that's where her gifts are, but you're pushing her to be a doctor. You're pushing her to be in science. You're pushing her to be in computers. And she doesn't want to do that. But that's what we do. And that's where I'm doing that ain't happening. That's not happening. So, yes, I want to set up these frameworks, right? I want it to be where you have the ability to explore and to do the things that you really are called to do, because I know that that's a journey. That is a search. That is something that you've got to try different things. You got to be able to have the flexibility. You've got to be, I don't want them to think about, and and it's not even thinking about. I don't want it to be where you're stepping out of college and you've got a whole house to pay. That don't feel good. That doesn't feel good. When you've got a whole $100,000 house, $200,000 house, whatever, that's not cool. So that's one of the things that I definitely don't want. And that's one of the things that my husband doesn't want. And that's one of the things that we're putting in place. However, they gonna work. Yeah, they gonna work. They gonna work. And we're gonna understand what it is. They're gonna be my duty, and that's what I feel, is to make it to where my kids are better off than, and when I say better off, I know that a lot of people's mind is going to go straight to money, but better off mentally than where I was. It's not just financially. You are going to be better than me. And that's our job as parents, to make it to be where they are better. They are starting off at an earlier age with the knowledge that I have, which means they're going to be 10 times, 100 times better than me when they come to my age. And that means that then their kids are going to be 100 times better. And that's how you enact change. That's why I posted that picture, saying that change is sometimes easier than we often think. We think that we have to reach out into the world and we've got to do all these fantastic things, which is great. You can do that. But sometimes we reach out and we do the things externally, and we're working outside of our household, and we miss the opportunities in our own households to enact change. That's where it starts. So it starts with us, and then with our kids, because we know that our kids are going to be going out in the world too. Y'all are raising soldiers. You are raising them, and whatever you're giving them is what they're going to impart on the world. So that's a huge job, y'all. So let me not get into parenting and all that stuff, but it's huge. So don't take that for granted, y'all. So yes, that helicopter parent, please don't do that. Don't do that. Let them live, let them experience, let them do the things that bring them joy, and support them. That is your job, to support. Okay? Support and guide. Guide them in what it is that they are wanting, they are desiring. Understand those things the same way that you're doing for you, and the same way that I'm sitting here, we're talking about these things, understanding what we desire, understanding what God has given us. That is your job as a parent, to do for your kids, to be there, to support them on their journey, because you know it's a journey. Be there. Don't push them to do stuff that they don't want to do. So that is it, y'all. We went into something totally different, but it was good. It was good. So if anything, I want y'all to keep these 2 points. Show up, make yourself available. But when you make yourself available, make sure that you come empty, ready to be filled. Less of you and more of Him. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. So that's it, y'all. As every Wednesday and every day, I want y'all to have an awesome, amazing day, because look, we up, we're breathing. That means that there is awesomeness to experience today. If you have not already experienced it, because actually you woke up today. That was awesome. That was a miracle already. You did not have to wake up, but you did. So y'all already experienced one miracle. You got a roof over your head. That's 2. Look, you about to drive to work. That's 3. Look, y'all can keep going. So we're walking in miracles. We are walking in awesomeness. And and we're walking in abundance. I want y'all to really feel that when you walk outside. If you're outside, then look around at the trees, look at the grass, look at all of this that you didn't have to do a thing for. But yet it still moves. Things are still happening. And you didn't have to do anything for it. Understand that when it comes to the things that you're working towards and the vision that God gave you, understand that it's not just outside that He does that. It's with you too. So when we're talking about surrender, That's not a weakness, that's a strength. When we're talking about submitting, that's not a weakness, that's a strength. And those are the things that we've got to intertwine in what it is that we're doing. It's nothing wrong with the action, it's nothing wrong with showing up. But surrender is where you're able to show up empty. So we got to merge the Marys and the Marthas together, right? Right? So let's do that. So show up, make yourself available, and show up empty. Have a great day, y'all. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, next week. Y'all know it's every week, but I'm still going to remind y'all next week. But every single week on Wednesday in the morning, 6 a.m., we are always on. We do not miss. It's on. All right? I'll talk to y'all next week. Goodbye.